Hey everybody, it's Galmadex, and welcome back to another Premier Draft of Bloomburrow. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. Two really viable options here. There's the Valley Flood Color, which is a sweet card for any blue deck, particularly those that are really focused on their specific blue creature types, rather than the other color of stuff. But you do need to build around this quite a bit. You need a very non-creature heavy deck. And I think the creatures in this format are by far the strongest of the spells. You want to be playing pretty creature heavy decks. I have not been a huge fan of the otters over time. I think Driftgloom Coyote just plays a lot better. Its strengths are a lot more conductive with what's generally going to be happening in the format. It's just a lot of very board state focused games. It's all about the creatures and stuff. You can't do like spell combo-y stuff too often, like Flood Color kind of stuff now. Maybe it's strong enough to still take over Coyote, but I just think Coyote as a beefy creature that also exiles a creature when it hits the board. It's just really what the doctor ordered in this set, and we get to start with two copies in a row. Really happy to see that, and it's going to be a pretty simple pick. Taking it over a mythic that wants us to be basically mono blue. That's not going to happen often. Pick three. All right, well, staying open is also pretty important in this set because there are really streamlined, really focused archetypes where if your archetype is open, you're going to get tons of good stuff like Gev, a 2 mana 3/2 that your opponent has to pay 2 life to target and makes basically any creature you play for the rest of the game come with a +1/+1 counter, especially any lizard. This card is incredible, and it's been passed to us pick 3, so the two players on our right are not trying to draft lizards as of yet. If it is open, it's gonna be incredibly powerful. The real awkward part doesn't go with our first two picks at all, but I think it's so strong we want to be open to that path. We want to take it here, and I am taking it over good white cards like Head of the Homestead or Harvest Right Host, but it's worth being open to that path. So pick 4, now we see the decent white removal of Repel Calamity, the okay white cheap creature, or big finisher creature out of red with Quake Tusk Boar towards the Gev. This is good signs to either direction we're going. Sticking to white with Repel, sticking to red with Boar. Both of these getting past pick 4 is nice for us. I'm going to take the Boar. Pick number 5. Okay, the red-black lizards cards are really not here, but we do see Flowerfoot Swordmaster, reasonable for a mice deck. So we'll take that. Pick 6. I guess we can hedge our bets here by focusing up on red. That way we can be red-white mice or red-black lizards. That'd be the easiest path to take this draft on. So we take like the Whisker Quill Scribe, Fine Filler 2-drop mouse to curve out with. Pick 7, Seasoned Warren Guard is pretty great with rabbit tokens and food tokens and stuff. Be very beefy for very cheap. And we got past a pick 3 Gev, but somebody to the right of the players that opened up the Gev seems to be on lizards because there's nothing else for that deck. But I think it was worth the speculation because of how powerful that card is. Well, okay, now there's nothing for the mice deck. I think War Squeak is just not good. But there's a Nocturnal Hunger, pick 8. One of the best black removal spells. Super late. Also, the Lizard Assassin, perfectly playable in Rakdos. So we take the Nocturnal Hunger. It's a free speculation because there's nothing in that pack I'm playing in Boros. So now I have 4 cards towards lizards and 5 cards towards mice. Thanks to these red cards that are overlapping for either deck. Pick number 9. Don't like any of these that much. Really don't like the villages since they don't give you colored mana for non-creatures. I've been got by that a lot. I think Early Winter's strong enough to take over the Raccoon Rallier, even though the Rallier could fit in either deck. And Life Creed Duo is very good in bats, specifically, where you have cards triggering off the life gain, but if you don't have cards triggering off the life gain, it doesn't do too much. We'll see how pack 2 looks for us here, but yeah, we can really go either direction off all these red spells. We definitely don't want to play all 3 colors. This is a format I would basically never recommend splashing. The fixing is just very bad, and it is pretty aggressive. You want to play to the board on curve very well. So you really don't want to miss on any of your colors ever. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. Incredible red rare that can fit into either deck. It's actually not incredible. It's a 4-mana 5/4 pretty much. So it's a fine red rare that can fit into either deck. Maybe the Thoughtstalker Warlock is worth taking here. It's an excellent card, just at face value, and it's also a lizard, which makes it even better. It's super good with Gev. That guarantees we've dealt damage to our opponent, and we get to choose exactly what we want them to discard while playing a 3/3 menace for 3. Yeah, this is actually just busted with Gev. I'm going to go for the lizards here off of that open. Okay, no good white here, no good black, no great red. We just try out the blacksmith's talents. This is better in red-white because you can get those Valiant triggers by getting your free equips off of level 2, but it's still going to be a big double strike buff in the late game, either way. Pick 3, take out the trash is pretty great here, as is another Coyote, but I think we are getting committed to Rakdos Lizards, where the Gateblade Assassin is going to be great. Definitely looking for more creatures here, preferably a lot of cheap ones. 1s, 2s, and 3s. Well, I guess we take the mice card. Maybe we can't actually sort it by mana curve just yet, and we still have to sort by colors. Actually, 1 card deeper into white. Yeah, white actually does look slightly better than the black here. Surprisingly. And then it's all white cards. Well, fill that 2-drop slot out. And while we're not drafting a frog deck, we are bouncing back and forth and bouncing back to mice here. Duo's fine at triggering Scribe and Mentor. Swordmaster. It's also a mouse. Although we have no non-creature white spells right now, so this Lupin Flower Village actually has no downside currently. Actually like that a lot. Well, there's a carrot cake, and now we have a non-creature white spell, and it's a cheap one. Immediately massively punished for taking the Lupin Flower Village. I kind of forgot about carrot cake being a very solid 2-drop to fill out the curve with, and we're really looking for more 2-drops. So, super awkward for the village. And there we go, there's a scribe. Gotta take out the trash and conduct electricity. I think I need to take the assault super highly here. We have double coyote as well. Yeah. When you consider the double coyote, we're doing perfectly fine on removal. Actually, carrot cake is like really good in green white and black white. It's not the greatest in Boros. But it's still definitely playable. If we don't find like a bunch of other 2-drops, we'll run it. I just want to cut it when I have the Lupin Flower Village because I just don't want to get hit by the mana base like that. So we need to find 7 more playables, and we just open up the perfect rare, buff all of our mice, get a legendary equipment. That's an incredible rate. 2 mana for +1/+1 Vigilance, Trample, Haste. Even if they kill Mabel, we've got the Crag Flame for the rest of the game. Mabel's fantastic, and we are rolling with her. A little sad because I would love the Stoat as an incredible 2-drop, but it's Mabel time. Pack 3, pick 2. I'd like another Seasoned Warren Guard here. We're not making a ton of tokens. It's pretty great with the Cragflame token. I think that's fine. But we could also take Repel. That's pretty great removal. Makes our Lupin Flower Village worse yet again. Which makes me wish I just took like the 2-drop there. I already have 3 5s. I'm not going to take Head this highly. But I would play one if we get one later. Yeah, I'll actually take Repel over Warren Guard. And I'm just going to cut Lupin Flower Village at that point. Pack 3, pick 3, now a Banishing Light. Yeah, now we're really making our Lupin Flower Village considerably worse. That's 3 ones. 3 spells it can't cast. All of which are pretty important spells for us to run in the deck. 12 creatures, but we have a Carrot Cake, so the creature count's not that bad, but it is still kind of bad. How's the token production for Caretaker's Talent? We have Blacksmith's Talent, Carrot Cake, Mentor, or not Mentor, Swordmaster, Mabel. It's not actually that high, but there's really nothing else in the pack, so we can try it. Warren Elder, definitely the pick here. We need more 2-drops. It's a rabbit and not a mouse, but it has an excellent ability later in the game. Life Creed Duo, Steam Path Charger, and Veteran Guard Mouse are all fine. I have no 4-mana creatures here, and this is a relevant creature type. So we'll play the Guard Mouse. Okay, preferably we find enough playables to cut Caretaker's Talent. Let's go! Another Seedglaive Mentor? Sure, that's going to be beautiful in this deck. So Mabel's giving us the equipment to get us our Valiant triggers over and over, and Blacksmith's Talent's also giving us the equipments to get those Valiant triggers over and over. Beautiful spot. And there's definitely nobody else drafting Boros in this pod. Another Quake Tusk Boar. I think I take that over Head of the Homestead. I think I'm aggressive enough for that. Now I do get to cut Caretaker's Talents. This is technically another non-creature. I was just putting it into the curve because that's where we're going to be casting it. This looks perfect. Not like perfect, but it looks like a good deck, which is more than I was expecting with all the bouncing around we did earlier. This Might of the Meek is actually very playable in this deck too, with the amount of Valiant triggers we have going on. 2 Whisker Quill Scribes, 2 Seedglaive Mentors, Flowerfoot Swordmaster. We've got a lot of that Valiant stuff going on. I don't think I end up playing either of these. I just have a lot of stuff going on at 5 mana. I've got a lot of non-creature stuff going on too. Plenty of removal. If anything, at this point, we find another good creature and drop the 1-drop out, but it does also get those Valiant triggers. Now I have the option of playing Ahead of the Homestead over one of these 5s, but I don't think I can play 5 drops in this pretty aggressive deck. And I just feel like these are just better. Just trying to end the game. So I'm going to drop Head of the Homestead, and we're going to hop into the gameplay. Alright, here we are for game 1. Nothing till turn 3. I do get to take out the trash earlier, which is cool, but might not happen. Depends what they play here. Seedglaive Mentor Thistledown players is sick. Okay, I do get to take out the trash. I'm going to do that to curve out. I've got the additional removal for later. So I technically get in for more damage if I haste out immediately. But I'd like to get a Mentor trigger for this going every single turn as quickly as possible. So getting the Summoning Sickness off of the Thistledown players makes it so we can start mentoring, well, Valianting the Seedglaive Mentor immediately. And they had their own take out the trash, so we don't get to do that anymore. But at least they took out the Thistledown players instead of the Seedglaive Mentor. I think this will be the better card in the long run, because we have plenty of other synergies to work with it. There's their Veteran Guard Mouse. We can repel that if we don't hit a land, and we didn't hit a land, so I have to repel it. It's actually super rough, because now I have another 3-drop that I would love to play too. One land and our hand goes crazy. Coyote and boar. Let's removal this mentor. Sure. Yeah, 5 mana, kill our 3-drop. I'm happy with that exchange. And here's a bigger mentor. Never been mentored by a boar before? All removal in their hand, but that's fine. If we just keep playing a haste creature into a removal spell every turn, then eventually they die, because they do take a hit every time. Love the amount of haste in this deck. 2 Seedglaive Mentors and the double Quake Tusk Boar as well. Wandertail Mentors, say goodbye, my friend. Now they are down to 3. If they can blow up the Coyote, they get their 2-2 back, and the 2-2's big enough to trade into our 3-2, and they're pretty stable, so we're really hoping they can't blow up the Coyote. And they can't. They've got the Brawl, which can definitely kill the Mentor, but not quite kill the Coyote. So they have to chump block here, or have the combat trick that's big enough to trade into Coyote. Show me what you got. Gotta go for that forced trump on board. And pass. They did not have any spells there. And that is game. Start things off 1-0 with a quick game, even though it actually lasted quite a few turns. Just some really simple, really basic aggro stuff. Well, we're not good at drawing our 1 and 2 mana creatures yet, but we're good at drawing the powerful uncommons, which is still nice. So we're not curving as aggressively as we could be or as we should be. We're playing strong enough spells, then hopefully this hand keeps up as well. Take out the trash on the Mentor, and then we pass. Bloomcreed Escort. It's actually a better trade than to take out the trash. I'm super fine with that. Getting rid of their hexproof trick when we have 3 targeted removal spells in hand. 3-tree mascot. 0 creatures off the draw. I really don't want to Banishing Light the mascot. Especially when I can Coyote it and get 2+1/+1 counters when I do that. And I have to play Coyote next turn. I don't think I can afford to just not play my 1 creature in hand next turn. Yeah, and their mana looks perfect already anyway. Bellowing Crier, sure. A lot of flood here, which is awkward. There's the 4/5, but if they play removal, they just get their thingy back. It's just a 1-for-1. Castrol. That's dead. I think I repel it because Banishing Light can hit more different things. If they have smaller cards with like really good abilities, I can clear them out. I've got multiple little 2/2s that let me discard a card, draw a card, so I kind of like holding on to some extra lands, at least 1 at all times. All times being once I have at least like 5 lands on board to cast all my spells. But then we start holding on to like at least 1. Gross. Alright. Great turn for our opponent. Can Banishing Light the duo and then they have to double block to kill the Thistledown? Basically a 3/3 vigilance here. Keep some pressure on. Sure. Sky Skipper Duo. So they can draw a card, discard a card again. But it is small enough we can still attack into it, and that's good. These draws are not good. Why can I untap a Banishing Light with this? That's so funny. Alright. We have to draw spells, but that is true of any game of Magic. Can't play 60 lands and expect to win, and you certainly can't play 40 lands and draft and expect to win. Not the worst draw, since that's multiple creatures, but certainly not the best. They're pretty small. Patchwork Banner on birds, probably. Bird deck just splashing a bunch of red burn. Well, actually, I have no idea. Kind of all over the place. 2-drop Raccoon, too. They did choose birds, though. They do have a bird on board right now actively attacking, so that makes a lot of sense. Wildfire Howl, sure, that's a 1-for-1. We cast one spell, they cast one spell to kill it. Carrot Cake's a pretty excellent draw at this point of the game. Give us the double scry and the life gain. I don't want to scry again off of Carrot Cake until I've already drawn the card that I know is on top. And I'm not getting extra scry value. Ugh, this Angler is a nightmare. That can become absolutely massive. It's currently just a 2/2, but basically any combat trick gets to eat the Mentor. As we get to get the combat trick out of the way, that's a 1-for-1 trade. They discard a combat trick, we discard a Seedglaive Mentor. I guess I probably should have scried first and seen if I was about to draw something really good with it. Oh, they didn't even have the combat trick? Okay. Well, then I probably was gonna be super fine with that. If we actually kill the thing. Alright. Top deck is a 2/2. And we just die in the sky if I draw into that, so we scry it to the bottom. Alright, well, we're dead. Not too much to say that game. We just flooded real bad. We got to the mid game and the end game. I don't think there were any big lines or anything we really missed. Just drew pretty bad. 1-1 heading into game 3. Our first time drawing a curve. Let's go. Is the curve worth playing this as a 1/2? I think it is. Already got 4 lands. We're scrying any land we see to the bottom. I'll keep the 4-drop. Baker's Bane Duo. 2 toughness. Making the Mentor not attack in well means I play the players then. Players up the Swordmaster. Double block Thistledown players now. That is fine. I don't want them to double block Seedglaive Mentor though, so I'm going to play Veteran Guard Mouse this turn. Cool. I've got excellent cards to Valiant up with Thistledown players. Such as Guard Mouse, but preferably the Seedglaive Mentor. Lily Splash Mentor. That eats up my Thistledown players if I want to get a Seed Glaive Mentor attack in. That feels worth it, awkwardly. They eat one of these creatures, everybody else gets in. So probably eat the Thistledown players, right? Take the rest of the damage. Eat the Guard Mouse. So Guard Mouse dies so that we can hit for 8. Sack it to deal 8 is a decent rate. Or sack that to deal 8 works too. Either way. I wonder if I'm ever going to draw my rares today. It would be nice. I've only got the one rare, but it's a fantastic one. So it'd be a huge bummer not to get to play it. Did they just play it super safe and block the 1/1? That's so lucky for me. That's like the best case scenario for us. Clements can pick up the Pawn Prophet, then they can recast it and have 3 blockers up at 5. Also get a mana out of it first. There's the Pawn Prophet. 1 mana up, they could have the +1/+3 trick. For the fight spell. Oh, the Polywallop too. It's not even a fight, it's just a bite. Oh, frustrating board state for us. Actually should have put a stop so I could sack the Carrot Cake during my upkeep. Although I probably would have kept the Whisker Quill Scribe on top. Yeah, we have no attacks now. Guard Mouse players means they eat players here and they chump Guard Mouse. Not worth it. They're getting stable with their stupid gigantic green creatures. They're not that big, but a 4/4 body is a 4/4 body. That's the real issue. Man. Just gonna get double rared again before I see my rare one time. Clement plus Wild Guide here. Where if they play any spells that cost more than 2, they can keep picking up the Wild Guide and recasting it for Offspring. To just have way too many creatures on board for us to break through. That is something. I mean, if I just let them sit here much longer, they just win no matter what. It's drawing every turn off Mentor at worst, but probably doing even more where they're making more Offspring and everything. Alright. Oh. Actually, a sick draw. But, I mean, like we either get there or don't, basically, right now. Yeah, lose a few creatures to put them to 1 here. Maybe. Put them to 2 this way. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think their other block was just better. I'm happier with this. Killing more of their creatures. Yeah, I'm actually very happy with that. Sure. Put them to 3, but we still have 4 creatures down. Conduct electricity might get there. Especially if they're relying on a token blocker getting cast this turn. Oh, wow. They just had a board wipe anyway. Seems decent. They're at 3, so I could draw us multiple hasters actually. Seedglade Mentor or Quake Duskboard for instant lethal. If they don't hold up blockers. It's such a live draw. They can forge and then put the Lily Splash Mentor in hand, cast it this turn, and then the Lily Splash Mentor can keep flickering the Forager whenever they have enough cards. And they had enough cards in hand. We don't know if this was their top deck this turn, so live draw is like not the right term. That's such a great card here. Oh. Man, we were like, oh, close to getting there that if they just didn't have like a board wipe, we probably would have. The 2 swings in a row. One swing that gets them down to 1, we lose a lot of our creatures, but then our next swing kills them with the conduct electricity follow through. I could cycle this, but it's also trample out of nowhere if I top deck the 3/2 haste. Giving it trample could turn into the lethal. Flicker the Lookout's decent here, sure. Conduct the Lookout and then top deck any creature and win. Any haste creature, sorry. Which is Mabel, Boar, or the 3/2. That's not Mabel or the Boar or the 3/2. Let's dig again. Mabel or the Boar or the 3/2. There's 3 lethal outs. We were not that likely to draw into an out there, fair enough, but oh, the board wipe. So painful. Snap keep. Let me get some revenge, Arena. Let me just delete people from the game before they can even make a decision. This is a great hand to open up when you're tilted. This is like, yeah, get out of my way. That is a weird attack. Oh, it's for Warlock? Shoot. we're still doing great. What a draw, by the way. Rip opponent. Yeah, double strike. That's 14 if they don't chomp. Oh my god. Doesn't really matter what I target there with the players. Downwind ambusher, finish off mentor, sure. I guess I should have played Scribe instead of using Duo there. I forgot about the players triggering Valiant. I would like to discard a card and draw a card before I decide on my attacks here. So I'm going to Duo the Scribe. Mabel. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, against one blue mana, unless they have specifically the unsummon, the trample should be lethal here. Yeah, double strike trample's insane. Well, we drew a completely insane busted hand. We got to just, and that feels like some good revenge. After the board wipe just went. Well, not even the board wipe, like the triple or quadruple rare there. The Clement and the Offspring and the board wipe. Here we are for game 5. Swordmaster into Scribe, or I can Offspring the Swordmaster leader. I'm gonna Offspring the Swordmaster on 3. Hopefully finding Mabel or our blacksmith equipment thingy. Okay, that card just kind of deletes your soul if it manages to hit you. Because you just keep putting counters on it. And it's always way too big for its mana cost. Yeah, super happy to have the 2/2 there. Ooh, Seedglaive Mentor. I have to find a way to target that. Or else it just doesn't attack into the first striker anyway. But theoretically a good card. This is Brazen Collector. Just a 2/1 first strike is so much stats right now. And against our deck in general. So I can pretty easily give them the ramp if they want it. I suppose if I double block with Scribe Swordmaster, we probably just 1-for-1 trade into a trick. But they could have like the +2/+2 trick. Oh, more squeak's fine. Then we don't get like blown out here. We just know that they don't get the target. They can buff Claw to make it a 2/3, so I can't kill the Claw here. If I block, they make it a 2/3. If I don't block, they play a spell. So damned if we do, damned if we don't there. Strike Force. Terrifying. There's a Mabel, but I really want to play Mabel when I have 5 mana, so I can play Mabel and equip. So we're a land draw away from Mabel being super exciting. Can Mentor, and because of the Vigilance, it's still going to be a good blocker here. Not mana efficient. I could play a 4 toughness blocker against the 3/2 collector. That honestly doesn't feel bad. It's also mana efficient for the turn. Take 2 from Strike Force. And their own Seedglaive Mentor. There's land 5, baby. You do love to see it. Vigilance, Trample, Haste, First Striking Guard Mouse, right? Or I can attack with the whole board by equipping it to Swordmaster, but fairly certain we get the Vigilant Guard Mouse. Hello, Warren Elder. And he's sweet with a wide board. Boom, 6 damage out of the Guard Mouse. This Crag Flame's going to be sitting here doing some great stuff through the following turns. Send in with Guard Mouse again. Play Elder and Mentor, I think. Maybe it was better to play Scribe and Mentor just for another mouse. Then I can just like Valiant up next turn. Just triple Valiant trigger. Swordmaster, Swordmaster, Mentor. Vanishing Light. Probably hits Mabel because we have so many mice on board. Hits the Warren Elder. Alright, I'll take it. If we top deck a land, I think they're pretty much just dead. But maybe we maths wrong. Just go for it, right? It's pretty huge. It's pretty huge. The board gets +2/+0 here. Big enough to not get first striked, yeah. Alright, Mabel continues to be very dumb, and we are now 3-2, recovering from those early losses by drawing our Bond Rare. Here we are for game 6. Very solid curve. 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now we've got a 4 to play as well. If they don't play a creature, we mentor. If they play a 2/2, we play players. Perfect. Okay. Oh, I'm happy to get that out of the way. There's a 1/1 and they draw a card. And that is the 5th land we need. Beautiful. Chump 4 damage, take 4 damage, they're down to 15. And unless they have the mythic rare board wipe out of black, I'm feeling pretty good here. And I am not going to play around a mythic. The odds of that are just super low and limited. Well, they look so dead. Yeah. They are deader than dead. We are now 4-2, heading into game number 7, and we're at that 50-50 break-even point in prize out. Feels pretty good. Also, positive record no matter what. 3 5-drops and nothing else is not keepable in this format, especially when you're in an aggro deck like this. This hand is really good. Oh my. I have to get rid of the 5-drop though. I can't keep a 2-lander with a 5-mana spell. Ooh. That makes the hand even better. If we hit lands throughout this game, we're going to have 2 equipment on board with double strike. Triggers. There's the first land. You do love to see it. I think I start with the higher power creature. If I start with Whisker Quill Scribe, they'll have to play something with at least 3 power to trade into it. Okay, that's fine. That's super fine. So they would have traded in either way. Here's Mabel, right? Is that better than playing Duo plus Scribe? I could play Duo plus Scribe and then follow up with Mabel, which is solid, but Mabel's just like such a safe play, because even if they kill Mabel, like, we have the Crag Flame, we're good. And then any creature I play, I can slap a Crag Flame onto it and just get the haste in. Especially if I draw land, I could play Bravekin Duo and level 2 the Blacksmith's Talent, then I can equip the Crag Flame for 0 each turn. Which would be incredible. Alright, it's more removal, but that's fine. Another land. Beautiful draws are beautiful. Now, every creature we play for the rest of the game is a threat. Feels excellent. Like, draw 1 mana 1/1? No, it's a 3/3 Vigilance Trample Haste, actually. This is pretty annoying. Get rid of Repel Calamity when they have no creatures on board. That is going to do a lot of damage to us, and if they get it all the way to level 3, it'll be a card draw engine as well, but by the time they spend all the mana into that, they'll have spent a lot to not impact the board. Double Strike Haste here? Kind of feel like I double strike here, overplaying the Scribe. This lets me also hold both of these in hand to try to get this farther away. Alright, made them use removal on the 1/1. That player has 1 or fewer cards, so I'm just going to hold that then. So that is not triggering. Dire Sight, Surveil 2, draw 2. It's a good value play, but it also doesn't directly impact the board. So we might be able to break through some more damage next turn. Negotiation's annoying, but I kept the land, so I still get to keep Scribe. This does mean Bandit's Talent is definitely going to be drawing them cards, because I can't just not play Scribe next turn. So I will have only 1 card in hand. Probably by the time they level that up to 3. Thistledown Players is theoretically better than Whisker Quill Scribe, but I could double equip the Scribe. I can only single equip the players. I think it's still better. I actually can play both because I'm going to haste this out and then I untap a land. Oh, target a non-land permanent. It literally says non-land. Never mind. I will untap Bandit's Talent. Well, still think it's better. I guess this has a more relevant ability, but this is the stronger creature base stats, so when I have to move an equipment over to give another creature haste, it's bigger. I think I got mixed up because the frog, you can return a land with the frog. So you can return a tapped land and then play it as your land for turn. If you haven't played a land yet to get some mana out of the frog there. Dark. They're dead on board. One card in hand. Well over lethal, and there's the concession. Blacksmith's Talent has been sweet in the mice deck, but we also drew it alongside Mabel multiple times, and it just makes Cragflame that much more ridiculous, so I don't know how sweet that is, you know, on Blacksmith's Talent's end, and how much is just Mabel being ridiculous. But the Wombo combo has been incredible, and it has brought us all the way up to 5-2 from a 1-2 start. So we're now in the money wherever the draft goes from here. All right, here we are for game number 8. This is a slower hand. It doesn't start till turn 3, but it goes big with the double bore if we hit a single land all game. And ideally we draw some cheap spells. Well, now we have a turn 3 play and a turn 4 play. So turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, turn 6. That's a game, especially if we draw a 2-drop here, right in time, or right on time. Didn't really, but with a curve like this, we just play this as a 1-drop to trade into Marsh Stalker and buy us some time, or force them to use removal and buy us some time, because we know what we're doing the next 4 turns of the game. And it's not kicking a Swordmaster or offspringing a Swordmaster. Again, this only remains the line if I draw a single land in the first 5 turns of the game, but it would be absolutely insane not to. Be massively statistically unlikely to not hit a land at some point in one of these draw steps. Well, we'll see. Okay. I guess I have one more chance now to hit the land in time. Keep the 4-lander, draw 4 non-lands in a row so far. I don't even have double white for me to have a really good 4-mana play next turn if I don't hit the land. So I will be pretty salty if we do not hit a land in 5 draw steps. There we go. Right on time. Just exactly as long as it could have waited. It waited. Storm Chaser's Talent, 1/1 prowess. We're definitely racing. Down to 7. Facing 8 power on their board, minimum. Picking up the removal for the boar, probably. Yeah. Might still just lose. Don't think I can just play another boar. If I play another boar, I attack both. They have to trump, sure, but then I die on the crackback, so doesn't feel the best. We play the Warren Elder and hold up Repel Calamity here. This might get them to try to Nocturnal Hunger the Warren Elder, but then I can Repel Calamity to not die if they don't have multiple prowess triggers. Okay, they don't get that bold. They let us keep the Elder. Boar is still lethal. So I think I just go for lethal boar, right? I don't even repel Calamity here. I just trade. And then we can repel if they play a big enough blocker, or like untap somebody or something. Okay, I can't kill that. It's too small to kill with repel. But it is a forced chump still. Okay, forced chump. They're at a low enough life that every haste draw in my deck kills them. That includes Mabel and my second... Oh, I already played both. Seed Glaives and both boars. So Mabel kills them. If they kill the boar. Some graveyard recursion going on. Coiling Rebirth. Pick up something and make a copy of it. Oh, hey, Mabel. So they're dead, right? Because Mabel's just stupid. Just in case they're not dead, I will trample haste the not Mabel card. This is also more damage. 10 trampling power against 5 toughness. Mabel is brokety-brokeded, and we're 6-2. Heading into the final battle, win or lose, our final game of Magic for today. Alright, here we are for that final battle. Sadly, a forced mulligan. We have a double white spell with just 2 mountains in the hand. And our turn 1 plays also a white card. We can't even cast anything with the lands in hand at all. And it'll take 2 draw steps to guarantee a play. No matter what lands we draw, we can get the Guard Mouse on turn 4. Or not turn 4, but on land 4. It's just really bad mana. This is just as bad mana. Yikes. Alright, some really bad luck to start off the final boss. Hopefully it's not enough to completely knock us out of the game. But here I can talent, take out the trash on 2, level up the talent on 3, and play Guard Mouse on 4. That is something to do turn 1, 2, 3, and 4 if they play something on board by their turn 3, which is pretty likely. The Mabel draw is incredible if we find the white source. Obviously, if we don't, we just lose. Okay, let's see if they play a creature by turn 3, so we do get to take out the trash. And they do. Love to see that. Come on, planes. Dang. Alright, our first 3 draws are 3 non-land cards. Not only that, they're 3 white spells in a row. So pretty devastating draws. But still only takes a single planes to make this hand pretty great. There's Star Charter from our opponent. And we find a 4th white spell in a row as the draw. This ain't it. Their Fountain Port gets to just grind out value while we're sitting here, and that's paying life, so Star Charter's drawing extra cards too. Mulligan into a basically forced keep of the 3 mountain opener, draw 5 white spells in a row, and 0 lands. Any land, and we'd be at Guard Mouse, or we'd be at level 3 talent. So we still, with the opening hand off of any land in the first 5 turns, had more to do than what we're doing here. But 0 lands, 5 draws in. Just 5 uncastable white spells. 6 white spells in a row? The odds of that are insanely low. Because it's like, we have to dodge every land in the deck and every red spell in the deck. And 50% of our deck at this point is lands. Another 5 or so of those cards are red spells that would have been castable. Guess we just lose. 6 for 6 on drawing a white non-land card. Seven for 7 on non-lands. Time to go to the casino, baby. That's triple sevens. Be raking it in on the slot machine. 7 out of 8 of our top cards were white spells. 0 out of 8 of our top cards were lands. Maybe this is just fate at this point. Arena is just not going to allow me to get a trophy run with a non-birds deck. We should have drafted birds. The birds are so mad at us. Please don't lethal me just so I can see one more card. Let's go 9 for 9, baby. 9 for 9. Oh no, they lethal me though. Oh no. If I choose to lose 3, they lethal me. So I will choose to discard a double white card. 9 for 9, baby. 0 lands. Oh, I forgot that I got the free equip. I should have played this. We could have seen one card farther. Opponent even gives me the oops. They will never know how dead they would have been off of a single plains. Well, that's magic, baby, and that's a 6-2 run off of just some pure variance on the last loss. Nothing we could have done there. I think that 6-card keep was reasonable, but if you draw 8 non-lands in a row, you draw 8 non-lands in a row. One last look at the deck. Big fan of it. Lots of really powerful Valiant triggers. The coolest stuff we got to do here was the Blacksmith's Talents and Mabel Synergy. These cards are both pretty strong by themselves because they're both great with just the Valiant themes in our deck in general. Mabel's incredible by herself because we have tons of mice in here and tons of cards that get buffed when we equip them. Blacksmith Talent, though, still good. Still good at equipping onto our Valiant cards, and giving us a token for Warren Guard was relevant a couple times as well. So these were the funnest, sweetest, most interesting things going on in the deck. But Mabel's going to be the sweetest thing going on in your deck anytime you draft her. So yeah, pretty sweet stuff. Really happy with the deck we ended up in out of this draft pod. Maybe bounced around a little too much during the draft, but I'm really happy we ended up in mice at the end. It worked out really well for us, and if you just look at this deck, you just take a picture of the deck and don't take into account what happened during the draft, this just looks like a premium Boros mice deck. You know, 1 or 2 filler cards like a Might of the Meek, maybe Conduct Electricity. If this were another Take Out the Trash would be better. But outside of that, I think everything works excellently in this archetype. Maybe the Guard Mouse a little filler, the Duo a little filler. I don't know. Looking at the deck as a whole, it just looks great. It just looks great. So 6-3 record, probably about its average, and really happy to have recovered and gotten all the way there off of a 1-2 start. It just is a shame. It is a bummer how the very last game went there. But we'll take it. Still a lot of value out of this draft, leaving with 1,800 gems and 5 packs. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for supporting the channel, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.